The loudest sound in the old timber workshop was not the rhythmic strike of the hammer, nor the gentle whisper of the hand plane shaving curls from a plank of oak. The loudest sound was the silence where my own work should have been. It was a void I had created myself, a calculated emptiness designed to make everyone finally hear the noise I made when I was there. This was the first and most dangerous lesson I ever learned about my own worth. My name is Elias, and many years ago, I was an apprentice to a master carpenter named Cale. His workshop was a symphony of creation, filled with the sweet scent of sawdust and the hum of focused effort. I loved it. I poured my soul into my work, arriving before the sun kissed the rooftops and leaving long after the moon had claimed the sky. I mended broken tools that others discarded, organized the lumberyard so every piece was easily found, and sharpened every chisel to a razor's edge. I worked harder than anyone, yet I felt like a ghost. My contributions were silent, seamless. They were the kind of things that are only ever noticed when they are not done. My hard work had made me invisible, a silent cog in a machine that everyone took for granted. One evening, my frustration boiled over, and I sought out Master Cale. I explained how I felt overlooked, how my tireless efforts seemed to dissolve into the background. Cale listened patiently, his wise eyes never leaving my face. When I finished, he didn't offer praise or sympathy. Instead, he placed a hand on my shoulder and said, "Elias, a lantern that is always lit in a bright room is never appreciated. Sometimes, to show others the light you bring, you must first let them experience the darkness of your absence." His words struck me as a profound truth. I had been working hard, but I hadn't been working smart. I hadn't understood that value isn't just about contribution, it's about the perceived impact of that contribution. So the next morning, for the first time ever, I did not go to the workshop. I spent the day walking by the river, my stomach churning with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. I imagined the chaos, the dull chisels, the misplaced mallets, the frantic search for that specific cut of maple that only I knew the location of. When I returned the following day, my heart swelled with a secret pride. The workshop was in a state of disarray. Two of the senior carpenters were arguing over a misplaced tool. The floor was littered with offcuts, and the entire production schedule was delayed. My arrival was met with a chorus of relief. "Elias, thank goodness you're here," one said. "We couldn't find anything yesterday," another added. Even Master Cale gave me a knowing look, a slight nod of acknowledgement. For the first time, I felt seen. I felt important. I had learned how to make them recognize my presence. I had learned to let them miss me. This newfound power, however, was intoxicating. I had discovered a shortcut to validation, a tool more potent than any hammer or saw. I began to see my absence as a weapon to be wielded. A few weeks later, we were facing a critical deadline for a large, ornate commission set of ceremonial doors for the City Hall. It was an all-hands-on-deck project, and the pressure was immense. In my foolish pride, I saw this as the perfect stage to demonstrate my indispensability once more. I convinced myself that if my absence during a normal week caused a ripple, my absence during a crisis would cause a tidal wave. They would see that the entire project rested on my quiet, diligent shoulders. So, on the most crucial day of the project, I stayed home. I imagined the frantic calls, the rising panic, the moment they would realize the linchpin of their operation was missing. I pictured my triumphant return the next day, ready to swoop in and save the project, cementing my status as the workshop's unsung hero. The reality I walked into was not the one I had so carefully constructed in my mind. There was no panic, there was no chaos. The workshop was humming with a focused, determined energy. And standing at my workbench, expertly finishing a delicate carving, was a young woman I had never seen before. Master Cale approached me, his expression not of anger, but of a quiet disappointment that stung far worse. "Elias," he said, his voice calm and steady, "this is Lyra. When you didn't arrive this morning, we were in trouble, so I found someone who could help." My jaw went slack. I looked from the half-finished doors to Lyra's capable hands, and the devastating truth crashed down upon me. Cale continued, "The first time you were gone, you taught us your value. We saw the hole you left, and we appreciated the work you did to fill it. But the second time, on a day when we needed you most, you taught us something else entirely, taught us your unreliability." He gestured around the workshop. A hole that appears once is a problem to be fixed. But a hole that appears repeatedly is a structural weakness. A structure with a known weakness must be reinforced or replaced. Your value, Elias, is immense. But value is useless without reliability. We couldn't count on you, so we found someone we could. That was the day I learned the complete lesson. My first lesson was a half-truth, a dangerous piece of wisdom, without its essential counterpart. Yes, you must ensure your contributions are seen and valued. You must work smartly, not just hard. But you cannot prove your worth by creating a void. True, lasting value is not demonstrated in the crisis your absence creates, but in the stability your presence provides. It's about being the steady hand, the consistent effort, the person everyone knows they can count on day in and day out. Reliability is the bedrock upon which all other virtues are built. Consistency is the quiet currency of trust. I had to earn my place back, not by being clever, but by being constant. I had to show up every day and be the dependable presence the workshop needed. Over the years, I have come to see that this lesson extends far beyond the walls of a carpenter's workshop. It applies to every facet of our lives, especially to the people we love. We often take the most constant people in our lives for granted, just as my colleagues took my silent work for granted. We grow accustomed to their presence, their love, their support. It becomes part of the background, a light that is always lit. We shouldn't need their absence to be reminded of the warmth they bring. We shouldn't have to wait for the silence of a friend who has moved away, a parent who is no longer with us, or a partner who has gone to finally appreciate the beautiful music their presence made in our lives. Cherish them now. Acknowledge their light while it is shining brightly beside you. For the ultimate lesson is this: do not prove your importance by being absent. Prove it by being reliably, wonderfully, and irreplaceably present.